All right, so we're on the road, not in the den today. Just drove an hour to pick up these realistic Nova 15s. Now one of them's got a chip right there and one right there. And they do need to be, if I can get this off of here, they do need to be refoamed. So I'm going to take them back to the house. We're going to order a refoam kit and we're going to refoam them. It'll be the first time I've done it, so I'm going to take you along with us. And of course, if you live in the Knoxville area and you're up in the Morristown area, you got to go to lunch right there. Good old pals. Anyway, let's get back to the den and let's get working. Okay, we've gone from outside in the snow to the inside of my messy garage. Ain't quite made it to the den yet. But thank you for coming back and watching. We're going to try to repair this big chunk here on the top first, and there's another one on the bottom. We're going to take a little bit of this all-purpose putty and just try to lightly fill this in to kind of reshape it, let it dry, sand it, and then we'll hit it with some furniture repair pins to kind of recolor it and restain it. And see how that turns out. Don't think I mentioned I got $20 invested in these realistic Nova 15s. I got a refoam kit coming, but while I'm waiting for it to arrive, we're going to try to repair these two little chunks. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so now we're going to open up this Bondo. Alrighty. You don't need much. Take a little piece of it right there and set that down. That should be enough. I cannot find the hardener for the Bondo, but basically the same thing and it will work. It's got the same properties, so I have hardener for JB Weld. And according to the old Google, the old Googa, this will work just fine. I can tell if it's nicely mixed. I can see a little bit of the lighter gray, which would be the hardener. Okay, and we're gonna add just, I'm just gonna use my finger and add a little bit. Ooh, it's way too much. Guess I should have got a better putty knife, huh? Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Much of the wood right here. I'm going to push that in like that on that edge. Fill that edge up a little more, and we can lightly sand it to shape. Okay, that's how that turned out. It's all glumped on there. I'm hoping I can sand that into a nice shape, and that's the one that was on the bottom. So we'll let these dry for a few hours. We'll come out here, see if we can sand that back into a nice corner, or at least a semi-corner, and recolor it. Okay, so since these speakers sit on the ground, and you don't want them aiming at your shins, I built these simple speaker stands. The back of the speaker will sit here, the front of the speaker will sit here, and they give it about 1.5 inches or so of angle, and the back of it will hit right here. So now I put these together yesterday. I'm going to hit them with a little sandpaper. I'm going to throw some stain on them, and I'll show you how they look under the speakers. Okay, here's how those turned out. Stained in a dark walnut. Set that right there. Take the speaker, set the front on there, adjust them out so the back hits the back and the front's just on there. And there you go. Now it's popped up I'm sitting at my desk and I'm listening to this. I set these up to the system that my headphones are set up to. In the evening, if I don't want the headphones on, I got that pointed right at my head, sitting at my desk chair, editing these fantastic videos. So let's still wait for that Bondo to dry, and we'll get those corners sanded up on the other speaker, and we'll wait for that refoam kit to get here. Okay, we're back at it. We got the, looks like these corners are dry and ready to be sanded. Full disclosure, the hardener from the JB Weld did not work. This was not hardening. I think I know why. JB Weld, you add 1 part to 1 part, where the hardener to the Bondo, it's like 1 part to 50 parts. So I think that's why it didn't work. So off camera, I finally did find the right hardener and did a proper mixture and kind of redid it. So now I'm going to sand on it and see how they start shaping up, and we'll bring you in then and we'll see how they're looking. Okay, here's how the corners turned out. Not too bad. Had a lot of cracking in here and I had to put some filler in there. That's why I got kind of scratched up. I was trying to prevent a lot of that. And then this one over here, looks, it's got some cracking along here. Try to doctor that up, but that's a little more sanding here and I think that'll be good. I have to find the furniture pins for repairing the stain. So we'll see how that turns out. And the finished product, I don't hate it. Far from perfect. But they're going to go up against the wall. But I'd say from farther back, they look better than they did. Now we just have to wait for the refoam kit. Alright, the mailman came. Let's get this opened up. Okay, we got this opened. And there's the foams. Down in here. There's the glue. So we're going to give it a shot. Refoam those realistic Nova 15s. Okay, we got the refoam kit. We're ready to remove the speaker and try to tear all this old foam out of there and put in the new stuff. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. Alrighty. White is this side. Okay, so we'll be able to tell. They're not going to come off easy. I'm going to have to get something to spread them apart so I can pop those cables loose. Okay, to get those little wires off, I had to take me a little bitty screwdriver and kind of stick it in there and spread them out a little bit so they would loosen up, and then they popped right off. So let's get to removing the old foam off the speakers. All right, we got some Q-tips and some 91% alcohol. I'm going to dip that and work on cleaning up this old foam. What you want to do is kind of scrape it off with your finger and have another finger under the cone to protect it. So you kind of push it against each other. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit, get this all cleaned, and then I'll come back and we'll do the outside. Okay, as you see, I'd have to take my glasses off to see it up close. But I'm working on getting the outside ridge of the speaker off. Kind of came with it. This needed to come off because this is where the new one glues. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit and we'll bring you back in. Okay, I got it all cleaned. I got the new one test fitted on there. I'm going to get the glue that came with it, and we're going to work on gluing it on. I got $20 invested in the speakers. I've got $24 invested in the refoam kit. So if it's a complete failure, oh well, but I'm giving it a shot. And you should too. Try to save some of these old speakers, especially these old realistic ones. All right, I'm going to start gluing and we'll come back and see how it looks. Glue that came with it seems to be just like an Elmer's glue. I'm going to guess it dries clear. So we'll wait and see. If it doesn't matter. They'll be hidden, but I would think they would dry clear. That's the best I can do. I'm going to go ahead and tear apart the other one, and we'll let these dry, and we'll come back and check on them. One thing I noticed on the other speaker is this outside ridge would not come off of the other speaker, and it ripped. So I don't have this outside ridge to put back over the top of the foam. It just disintegrated when I tried to get it off of there. This one came off in one piece. So I was able to glue it over the outside ridge of the foam. This one, I do not have that. So I'm going to hope the glue holds it. If not, I'll have to find one of those ridges to put on it. But we're going to let these dry for a few hours, and then we'll come back and we'll reinstall them and see how they sound. This is a bummer. I wish I had that outside ridge, but like I said, it came apart in pieces. I might be able to save some of it, and I'll probably try and put some of it back on. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I was able to cobble together the parts and piece it back together. So hopefully it'll dry and it'll add some stability on the outside ridge of the foam. We'll see what happens. I'm just trying to get this to stay down and dry. I said it just ripped into pieces when I tried to pull it off, or the other one came off pretty unscathed. But, it's 40 years old, so what do you expect? Well, we're going to hope that this will dry. Work. See what happens. Make sure it's lined up with the holes pretty good. Seems to be. All right, it's just a waiting game. Okay, in this clip, there's actual music being played while I'm filming the front of these speakers, but for copyright reasons, I am not having the volume up. But it is Judas Priest, British Steel album, and that's what we're testing them out on in a pretty moderate volume, and they seem to be working just fine. And here's how they turned out. That's the one I repaired the corner on. Back over in that corner. Won't be noticeable. They turned out pretty well. That's the doorway into my den. And that's where they're going to sit. I thank you for watching. Click that notification bell so you know when I'm posting a new one. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.